Oh man, I'm looking forward to this! Hello everyone, Camo64 here. I'm gonna outright say it. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is my favorite game of the original classic Sonic trilogy. It's an amazing masterpiece! It's my go-to mobile game when I just want to pass some time, and I personally think that even the original Genesis version has aged significantly well. Why is it my favorite of the originals? Let me show you! You turn on the game and immediately notice a huge difference from the first game. Sonic the Hedgehog and Miles Tails Prower? Who the heck is Miles Tails Prower? You see the title screen, there's Sonic, he goes off to the side, and there's Tails! Tails is Sonic's best friend, and this game was his debut. He's an orange 8-year-old fox who was born with a birth defect of having 2 tails. He's also incredibly talented with mechanical engineering. His birth defect and nerdy talent led to him being picked on a lot when he was younger, until he met Sonic, who saw his birth defect and his mechanical talent as things to be proud of. The two became best friends, and Tails started joining Sonic on his adventures. He can use his tails like helicopter blades to both hover in the air and propel himself forward almost as fast as Sonic. Tails is by far one of my favorite Sonic characters, all because of his backstory and his engineering talent. I personally love engineer characters, and his backstory is really sweet and shows what a kind spirit Sonic is. Okay, character introduction's over, on to the gameplay. This game has doubled the number of zones from the first game, but at the expense of each zone only having 2 acts each. The zones in this game are beautiful green fields, a chemical plant, some flooded ruins, casino pinball, lava fields, a cave, a secret cave exclusive to the mobile version, more on that later, an oil rig, scrap brain light, the sky, fortress in the sky, and space station. Or as the game calls them, Emerald Hill, chemical plant, aquatic ruin, casino night, hilltop, mystic cave, hidden palace, oil ocean, metropolis, sky chase, wing fortress, and death egg. Gameplay-wise, it's really not that different from the first one. You still accelerate at a realistic pace, and you still jump with the same arc. The roll is also the same, and the same 5 power-ups are here and accounted for. New to the game, however, is a now series staple move, the spin dash. You hold down on the D-pad and tap the jump button, which is, again, any of the 3 buttons on a Genesis controller, and Sonic will start revving up like an engine. Let go of down, and Sonic dashes forward in a roll. Even though this move completely defies the laws of physics, how the heck does he roll in place like that? It's definitely an improvement over the first game, as you no longer have to back up to accelerate to get over some of the larger slopes. Emerald Hill isn't all that much different from Green Hill. It's a nice happy green area to start out in with tons of slopes and loops to get your bearings in the physics of the game. Rings everywhere, simple enemies, it's a perfect first level. You pass the goalpost and it spins to reveal Sonic's face, just like the last game. Act 2 is more of the same, then boss! Robotnik has converted his Eggmobile into a helicopter for some reason. I guess his hovercraft tech was damaged in the explosion at the end of the last game, and he lands in a big drill vehicle thing. He slowly moves back and forth. Lame! You hit him 8 times and he explodes and flies away. You progress right and find a slightly redesigned animal capsule. You step on the button and instead of exploding, it releases a lock and just simply opens. I guess the explosions from the first game were a little too unrealistic. Next zone! Chemical Plant Zone! This is by far my favorite zone in the game. This zone has tons of ramps that you can roll down, which allows you to gain some insane speed. There's also a few segments where you can just hold down the roll button and enjoy the roller coaster ride. Also, this zone is just nice to look at. Tons of bright and vibrant colors. Holy cow, this is a way better second level than Marble Zone because you can actually go fast! This zone's gimmick is these little tubes that are very satisfying to travel through. Their diameter is coincidentally the exact same diameter as Sonic's Spinball, but that's besides the point. There's also tons of loops, half-pipes, and speed boosters that really let you experience the roll to its fullest potential, even more so than Springyard Zone. This zone also introduces water to the game, my brain's still in flashbacks. But if you know what you're doing, you can avoid it pretty easily. There's also a weird chemical goop that damages you if you touch it, which is important to the boss. Robotnik floats above some flipping platforms and gathers some goop that he then drops on you. This is easily the worst boss in the game because it takes him so long to fill his little goop tank. You can literally jump on top of him and hit him all 8 times before he even finishes filling his tank once! A subpar and unchallenging boss for the best zone in the game. Next! Aquatic Ruin is a better version of Labyrinth Zone. For starters, you're not forced to go through the water. If you're good enough, you can take the upper path above the water, something Labyrinth Zone lacked. Plus, even if you do go underwater, there's plenty more air bubbles around than there were in Labyrinth Zone. There's also no button-based doors to stop you, so that helps too. This zone is plenty fast, and I genuinely like it. The boss is interesting too. There's these 2 stone totem poles made of 4 faces that each point to each other. Robotnik flies above and uses a giant mallet hammer to make them shoot arrows at each other. You use said arrows as platforms to reach Robotnik and hit him. Or you can quickly jump on top of them as they rise and just hit Robotnik from there, which is way easier and faster. Next zone, Casino Night Zone, is a weird one. First of all, why is there a casino level in a kid's game? That's always bothered me. Secondly, why is said casino also a pinball table? Seriously, there's flippers, bumpers, and even pullback launching springs that are activated by holding the jump button. It's literally pinball with slot machines. Working slot machines! And they work for free! This certainly is an interesting level, and it's very easy to get distracted by the slot machines for all the free rings. The pinball elements are fun and interesting too. Overall, it's one of the better levels in the game. The boss, meanwhile, is easily one of the hardest in the game. The Eggmobile has been completely over-decorated with neon lights, and he drops bombs on you while you're trapped in a small single-screen pinball table. You can't just jump up and hit him though, because when he's not dropping bombs, he's protecting himself with electricity. You have to defeat him with well-timed jumps that you do after spin dashing. Trust me, it's a lot harder than it looks. Moving on, Hilltop Zone is literally just a blue Emerald Hill zone. Seriously, just look at it. That's literally just Emerald Hill's tile set with a blue palette. Anyway, this zone's gimmick is lava traps. Lots and lots of lava traps. There's lava pools you have to avoid, there's rooms you get locked in where lava will start to rise, the enemies are red hot metal balls, and even the boss involves lava, more on that later. This is one of the slower zones in the game, mostly because of all the rooms you get trapped in, but it's not as horrendously slow as Labyrinth or Marble zones. Right, the boss. Robotnik comes out of a pool of lava and spews some fire at you. This one is almost as easy as the chemical plant one, the only difference being Robotnik is below your platform rather than above, so you can't just drop back onto it when you're done wrecking him. Next, Mystic Cave is, well, a Mystic Cave. It's got plenty of fast sections and plenty of slow sections. I'd say it's a pretty nice balance. This zone's main gimmick is bridges that lower when you activate hanging switches. There's one gap in particular in Act 2 where if you don't pull the lever, you fall into an inescapable pit. Why is that there? Who knows? Eventually you reach the boss, Robotnik in a drilling vehicle, very different from the one in Emerald Hill. He drills into the ceiling, causing stalactites to fall on top of you. You attack him whenever he comes back down. 8 hits, moving on. Next is Oil Ocean, and wait, we forgot something! Remember that inescapable pit I told you about? Well, it actually does have a purpose in the mobile version. If you fall in, you get sent to a secret zone called Hidden Palace Zone, which is exclusive to the mobile version. This is a fun little one-act zone with tons of rings and fast, and I freaking love it. They even gave it a brand new boss fight. Robotnik has a giant trombone attached to his Eggmobile, and he uses it to make bombs fall from the ceiling. You attack him by making him hover over a big bomb when it explodes, which causes a column of water to spew up and hit the Eggmobile, temporarily disabling it, in which case you attack him. Overall, a fun new addition to the mobile board that also got rid of one of the biggest annoyances of the original version. 2 birds with 1 stone! Next!